What's up guys, Kyle here again, and today we are checking out the Purple Nightmare tube preamp pedal from Driftwood Amplification. Let's do it! Alright, hope you guys are doing great out there today. If this is your first time here at my channel, the top of my head is cut off, and it's not usually like that. And what I typically do besides poor videography work is I take all sorts of awesome high gain related guitar equipment, I record it with a simple SF57 setup, and I give you the unprocessed audio on your end. So if you're into E-Sander thrash riffs, drop C hardcore riffs, and guys who continue to wear shorts that are short enough to bother some other people, you're in the right place. Consider hitting the like button and subscribing on the way out so you don't miss any more of my stuff. Thanks! Alright guys, so as I said in the intro, today we are checking out the Purple Nightmare tube preamp pedal from Driftwood Amplification. And as you heard in that intro clip, my personal opinion of this preamp pedal is that it sounds really, really good. Now some of you guys may remember that I demoed a couple of Driftwood amplifiers on the channel in the past year or so, and the first one was my Purple Nightmare amplifier that I owned for a little while, and you guys may remember that I didn't review it all that favorably. So when Driftwood Amplification reached out to me via Instagram and asked me if I wanted to check out the tube preamp pedal, I was actually fairly surprised and honestly really impressed that they were willing to send out a pedal to somebody who had reviewed another one of their products not so favorably. I think a company being willing to provide something for a review, knowing that it may receive some sort of criticism or it won't necessarily get an absolutely glowing review based on some of the other stuff on the channel, I think that's a huge integrity move on their part, and honestly, it makes me respect the hell out of the company. So thank you to Driftwood for sending this out to me. I do want to let you guys know they sent this out to me to make a demo for you guys, but they're not paying me for this video. This is not a sponsored video. They just provided the unit so that I could make this demo for you. But as always, you guys are gonna get my honest thoughts and opinions, so please keep that in mind. I don't know what I'm doing here. All right guys, so this is basically the preamp section of the Driftwood Purple Nightmare, their flagship amplifier in a pedal and in all metal housing. Now, is this all tube? I don't know. And honestly, I don't really care either because I'm getting tones out of it that I am very, very happy with. But if it's anything like the amplifiers that Driftwood makes, it is made with all top quality components. And I can honestly say that they have done a great job of capturing the flavor of the Driftwood Purple Nightmare all tube massive monster amplifier in this pedal. And that's pretty impressive. So not only do you get the amp layout with the high and low gain settings and the sizzle switch, but you also get the built-in tube screamer that comes on the Driftwood amplifiers as well. This thing also has an effects loop built into it. It also has a 2-watt power amp, so if you want to play this into a cab and you don't have an external power amp, you can do that as well. And on top of all that, it's even foot switchable. You can put a foot switch into the side jack here in order to control something. If you guys know what that foot switch function is for, let me know down in the comments because you know me, I'm a belligerent amateur. I don't do a whole lot of foot switching on this channel. So with all that being said, we're gonna check this out into different power amps. We're gonna put it into the effects return of the EVH 5150 100 watt 6L6 Stealth. That's how you guys heard it in the intro clip. And we're also gonna check it out in the Amped 1 100 watt power amp pedal by Blackstar. This was provided to me by Zounds. Huge thanks to Zounds for sending this out so I can do demos like this. And if you guys want to pick up one of these of your own, I have a Zounds affiliate link down below in the description of this video. So to round out our signal chain, for right now I'm using my Balaguer Typhon with the Duncan distortion in the bridge. We're going into a Crate Blue Doo Doo cabinet with the stock original vintage 30s, and we've got an SM57 on those V30s. This is an all birch cabinet. Great sounding cab, great construction. We've got all the recipes for a great tone here. In that intro clip, I was only using the purple Nightmare pedal. I was not using an external boost to get those tones. We were on the low gain setting. Now, I do have some gain on the Tube Screamer circuit here in order to basically gain up that lower gain setting, because if you have the gain dialed back and the gain maxed out, even on the low setting, it's like just enough to make it sound a little bit dry. It needs just a little bit more gain to get the full balls out saturation that I personally like, but I do tend to like the low gain sounds on this pedal and on the Driftwood Purple amplifier a little bit more, because it's a little bit more open. You get a little bit more of those mids and those highs coming through on this setting. So as you can hear, tons of low end. We still have a solid amount of saturation for sure, even on the low gain channel with the built-in Tube Screamer. I've got the rumble and the sharp both up around 130 on the dial here. We've got the sizzle switch in the bottom setting, which gives us more sizzle, which makes the amp sound more saturated. I will say the pedal is a little noisy, so you're gonna want some sort of gate after it in order to tame some of that hissiness. And the master volume on this thing is incredibly touchy, so it goes from basically off to on. Would like to see a little bit more range in that master volume, but we can live with it because we can still get it in that sweet spot where we want it. So here is the pedal with the sizzle switch in the middle setting. And here it is in the top setting. So the top setting seems to be the brightest, the harshest. The middle setting, honestly, for me, seems to be where I like it the most, because the mids and the lower high frequencies seem to be a little bit more forward, which is what you guys know I tend to like. And then in the bottom is where you get the most actual sizzle. It kind of just makes it seem a little bit more saturated because of the sizzle is coming through. So that top is very, very bright, pretty harsh, honestly. Let's go back into that middle, because I was definitely liking that the most. We can pull back that rumble a little bit. We can pull back our bass frequencies a little bit. Man, this thing is a lot of fun to play. Let's go ahead, let's kick off that Tube Screamer though, just to see how much gain is on this pedal without being boosted in front. We've got the gain maxed out on the low setting. So unboosted, this thing has kind of a really nice open tone. We'll dial that back a little bit, play a lower gain riff. Actually sounds really good to my ears. That's nice and open, really, really nice, full cutting sounding tone. I will say, guys, I am digging the preamp pedal much more than the actual amplifiers, and I think I know exactly why. The preamp section of these EVH amps,
the power amp, not the preamp.
are very, very tight. They are very bright. They have the presence in the right frequencies that my ears are used to coming up on the PV5150 for most of my early playing career. So putting this pedal through a familiar power amp where basically all the frequencies are where I like them immediately has made me enjoy the sound of this much, much more. I think the power amp on the actual Driftwood Purple Nightmare itself is a little looser, it's a little darker, the frequencies are not quite where I am used to them being, and that's why I was not a huge fan of the actual Purple Nightmare amp, but this preamp seriously sounds incredible right now. So thank you, Driftwood, for sending this out and helping me right the ship here. Let's go into the high gain mode. We still have no overdrive on. That sounds great. We've got a lot more low end. We do have more compression, so it is sounding a little bit more choked in that upper mid frequency area. Let's pull that rumble back. Let's pull the bass back on the pedal, see if we can tighten it up without a boost. All right, so no, it doesn't really get that tight without a boost. We'll try pulling the bass and the rumble back a little bit more, but I don't think that's gonna do it. Again, tighter than the amp, but it still has a little bit of chewiness, especially in those low mid frequencies. So let's go ahead and pull the gain back and let's kick in the built-in tube screamer. Oh, that is a really nice thrash tone, actually. Let's bump up this bass. Yeah, I can already tell I'm gonna dig this. Let's get a little bit more gain, a little bit more rumble. I don't even know what words I want to use right now. This thing is super raw. It just seems so much more open than the amp itself and the frequencies that I like. Like the upper mids are really, really good on this thing. It doesn't seem so congested going through the EVH power amp. I'm really enjoying this right now, but let's dial in like a completely different tone. Let's put it in that harsher setting. Let's dial back the sharp, let's dial back the treble, and let's scoop those mids out and see if we can't get a cool scooped mid sound. Oh yeah, we definitely can. So let's actually get a little bit more sharp. All right, so that mid control actually has a massive sweep on it because we were able to get a super mid scoop tone, no problem. Let's pull it up just a little bit, get a little bit more treble. Nice percussive, nice metallic percussive low end. I'm actually really digging that. It is a little sharp on the top end, but I feel like a lot of those scoop tones usually are to kind of compensate. Let's bring those mids back up. Let's actually bring them up quite a bit. Let's pull the treble back. Yeah, there's still some high frequencies on this sizzle setting that I don't like. Let's go to that bottom setting. The bummer about that though is I really like the palm mutes with the sizzle setting up. They're very clanky and metallic, which is what you guys know I tend to like. Let's get a little bit more treble on this set. I think that sounds excellent. I am honestly really enjoying this, guys. It sounds excellent through the power amp of the EVH. Let's play like a drop C riff real quick, and then we'll switch over to the Blackstar and see how it fares in an all pedal setup made of only pedals, because that's what an all pedal setup is. So it definitely sounds good. I do want to test it real quick before we switch over with an external overdrive, something that's going to cut a little bit more low end. So here is the Blackstar King in Yellow. You guys know that I've absolutely been loving this overdrive. Yeah, it takes an external drive extremely well, and that one really tightened up that low end as well. Still remains punchy, still remains percussive, so not only does the internal tube screamer work great, but an external drive works great with the pedal as well. So let's switch it over to the Blackstar Amped 1 and see what kind of tones we can get out of that thing. All right, guys, we're now going into the Amped 1. I have touched nothing on the pedal. The Blackstar is still on in front. That just goes to show you how much the power amp affects the overall sound. To be 100% honest, I'm not digging it nearly as much as I was through the EVH, but we can dial in the pedal a little bit, we can dial in the power amp a little bit. So let's start doing that. And again, the pedal is noisy, guys. You're definitely gonna wanna gate after that if you're playing loud because it is hissing, but you know, you'll find that with a lot of high gain circuits. It's close. There are definitely some harsh frequencies in the Blackstar pedal though, so let's see if we can kind of balance that out on the Purple Nightmare. Let's go into this bottom sizzle setting, and I'm already liking that better. Let's pull back the sharp a little bit. Let's pull back the treble on the EQ section. I'm gonna turn off the Blackstar pedal. We're gonna turn on the internal tube screamer. I don't know what I'm playing at all, but what I can tell you is that those little tweaks that we just made it sound infinitely better to my ears. This sounds actually really natural for a solid state power amp. All right, so that sounds good. Let's check this middle sizzle section. Real quick, let's try active pickups and then a 7-string, and we'll call it a day, but I think this thing sounds great, man. All right, guys, LTD Black Metal Phoenix with the Fishman Fluff signature pickup in it, my favorite Fishman. That sounds nasty. That is a tone I am honestly super happy with. Really dig that. Let's go over to the 7 string. Alright guys, that's gonna do it for me today on the Driftwood Purple Nightmare Tube preamp pedal. Thank you, huge thank you to Driftwood for sending this out and letting me check it out here. And if you want to pick one up for yourself, I will link down below in the description for you guys to find it. At the time of filming this video, this pedal is 599 euro, which is somewhere between $650, $700. That's gonna do it for me today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. I would really appreciate it. Subscribe so you don't miss any more of my upcoming uploads. Thanks so much for watching. Kyle here again. We'll see you next time.
You know what this wall is missing? Another amp. There we go.